Well, I'm still underneath the house. This happens to be an exterior wall. There's stucco on that wall. Is there something on that wall you don't see? Something on that wall. And I've got another exterior wall. This is an interior wall. There's another wall on the other side of that, but there's another wall over there, and you should see something over there somewhere, and I don't see anything there. And let's just go over here a little bit. Bear with me here. I follow my little trail along here. These walls right here are not exterior walls. These go underneath the deck, so there shouldn't be anything in those walls. But that wall over there, all the way along there, all the way through, do you see anything that you think should be on that wall? Foundation vents. Yes. Dabbity nabbit, this house, when we purchased it a year and a half ago, it's about a 19-year-old house, and even the homeowner inspector, you know, who did a home inspection for us, he didn't even catch it. There's no foundation vents in the exterior walls. Now, why is that? I even had a set of plans, and one of these times I'm going to show you how to read those. I've got a few on my YouTube channel on how to read a set of plans, electrical plans. I've got like 6 different videos of that. But I'm gonna do an extensive video series on reading a set of home plans, and I'll show you on there where it shows where there's supposed to be foundation vents in here. There's none. I thought, am I missing something? Granted, there's a lot of room here, right? But even then, you're supposed to have foundation vents. And a foundation vent is a rectangular cutout, you know, maybe 6 inches tall, 5 or 6 inches tall by 14.5 inches wide, with wire going back and forth on it. And it either have louvers on it, or you can just look out through there and look outside. And that's for a reason. What is the reason for foundation vents? Well, it's to help underneath your house breathe. And what I mean by that is, if you don't have those foundation vents, you have a tendency of the air getting stagnant underneath your house. You could have a mold issue. You could have a moisture issue somewhere if you've got something going on, you know, some small little wall leak, or you don't even have to have a leak. You can just have you know, there might be some moisture in here that can't get out, or that can't dry. If you had any wetness, dampness underneath your house, and if you had foundation vents, that allows the air to travel through it should allow your air I'm getting tongue-tied here for a second. It allow your air, you know, to go from here and come all the way through your house. And then foundation vents here would allow the air to come in, and then maybe the air goes out that way. Or maybe the air comes in here and it goes that way, and it goes up on it, up in here. And it just gives your house a little bit of airiness, you know, so that you don't get it damp under here, so that you don't have issues underneath your house because you don't have the foundation vents. Now, is the foundation vents a requirement? I believe it is. I looked at the house next door to us. Of course, it's got foundation vents. We don't have any foundation vents, but they got foundation vents. And it was on the plans, and I built a few houses, and we've done years ago when I was first working in construction, we did a couple room additions. We had to install foundation vents on the extra room, especially, you know, obviously if there was a crawl space underneath the house. Even if your crawl space is only 2 feet You know, some houses only have a crawl space from about there to there. You got to crawl down on your hands and your belly. You know, I've had to do that before. Even houses like that, they have foundation vents. So, you know, at this point, what could I do? I guess I could look up on the internet, or I could talk to another builder in town and get his thoughts on, hey, this house doesn't have foundation vents. Granted, it's 19 years old. I can breathe just fine down here, you know. But most of the time when I'm working down here, I've got the access door open, and right now I just happen to have it kind of closed. There's an access door right there that then goes out to another door, and usually I have that open, and there's light coming through here, and that gives me a little bit of light, you know, while I'm working down here. But it looks like everything's fine, and you know, I don't know if I'm going to cut in any foundation vents or not. I mean, I could, and what I'd have to do, this is stucco on the outside of here, I'd have to determine where I would put them and maybe drill a little hole out there, then measure off of that in the base, and maybe get a foundation vent that's just a cover, and then face screw it on from outside. Lots of foundation vents will have a little flange on it, and you install that onto your 2x4s before you install your siding or your stucco. You know, for your stucco ones, you've got an extra one that the flange sticks out further so that the stucco fits around that. Well, they didn't do anything. So yes, I could cut some of those in. I don't know if I'm going to do anything or not. Seems like it's okay, but it's really not the proper way. If you've got foundation vents, hopefully you do, if you got crawl areas, and if you do, check around your foundation vents. Sometimes you've got holes around them, maybe mice come in through there or something like that. They're bound to rust out after a while, depending on how old they are. If they're close to when it's raining on the south side of your house or something like that, where the wind blows in and the rain hits your foundation vents, you can go underneath the house and you can get the same mesh, and you can staple it up on the back side, you know, and put it on there, and that'll fix the problem. Nobody will even know the difference from outside. You don't have to take the foundation vents out. You can staple the little mesh on the back side, cut it with some tin snips. I just happen to have some tin snips here. These are Wiss. I've had these things for years, and nowadays they're pretty old, but they still cut, so I'm still going to use them. Nowadays they're not as strong as this, but you know, cut them with something like that, and then staple it from the back side. It would be a good thing. So if you happen to decide to build your own house, let's say, or add a room addition, and you've got an area underneath your house, the crawl area, double check with the inspector. Hey, do I have to have foundation vents? And he'll tell you yes or no. And chances are he's going to say yes. And chances are, if you do build a house or a room addition, and even if your plans don't say foundation vents, you're going to have inspector checklist from the structural inspector when he's plan checking your plans, and he's probably going to give you a notice on there that says, hey, I'm not going to sign anything off until you show me where the foundation vents are going to be. So chances are they're going to be shown on your plan. But if for some reason they're not, make sure you ask the inspector if you need them. I think you know what the answer is going to be now. Ooh, I'm glad that's all done. I got everything tight. I crawled down through on the other side, and there was like 4 or 5 more over there that I tightened up too, and all of them were loose. Of course, they were all loose. And man, I'm glad that's over with. If you want to see me do other things down here, stick around and keep watching my videos. I got something else I can do in this area, and in all the areas where I can access. And I'll show you on my next video.